I like to believe that when the devil closes the door on two men having sex, God opens a window. You know? They're comedians and co-hosts of the podcast Politically Reactive. Please welcome W. Kamau Bell and Hari Kondabolu. Welcome, fellas.
Hey, John. How are you?
Good, Hari. How are you, Kamau? Terrible question. Terrible question. All right, well, let's get into it. What a week. Former Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid said that the government is concealing important evidence of UFOs and has been for years. Now, if we could just find signs of intelligent life in Congress.
Oh, is that the punchline?
That's it.
Oh,
That's
it's good. John, it's good. I like it. It has
knuckleheads, huh?
It has a structure. It has an ending. It was really good, John. I liked it.
Thanks. On Monday night at a campaign event in Florida, Trump said to the adoring crowd, "I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there. I'll kiss everyone in that audience. I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women, everybody." This could be another side effect of that drug he's on, which I think is called Molly.
That's a good one.
That's good. That's good.
That one I would do.
I just think it's cool that he's embracing his bisexuality, even at a late age. You know, like we are all so negative about Trump, but look at this, some growth.
I think he's misjudged his base to assume that the men in his base want to be kissed. I feel that that's the type of base that would not like that and be very upset.
Or is it really? Does he really understand what Proud Boy means now? And he's judging his base accurately. You know, Proud Boy's got the Proud Boy thing got hijacked online recently. Maybe he saw that and was like, "Oh, is that what we're doing now?"
It's like, if I'll do what I have to do.
Well, maybe you don't like Trump as much as me because I slept with him. You're not. Yeah, I'm confused about it. I feel really confused. I'm confused by all these feelings. We also learned that Trump reportedly wanted to pretend to be frail while he exited Walter Reed Hospital, only to surprise everyone by abruptly dropping the act like Willy Wonka, which makes sense because Trump has approached the pandemic like Willy Wonka. He's willing to fuck up some kids to make sure factories run smoothly.
So it's Bill Hicks wrote that joke.
The journey for that one.
It's also a DC Comics meets Roald Dahl mix-up that nobody saw coming.
Mm-hmm.
James and the Giant, peach-colored.
He thinks he normally walks in a way that inspires confidence and strength. When as far as I can tell, he walks like a bag of squirrels. Like, it's not like he's a dude who walks in any way like that's a strong walk that guy has.
Yeah, it's definitely two racist 12-year-olds in a trench coat kind of a thing. You know,
if I was a child and I saw Donald Trump open his shirt and a Superman logo appeared, I would burst into tears. Like,
I would love to be
that's not Superman.
I mean, already, like, John Fogerty just recently told him to stop playing. What is the song? Proud Son, Innocent Son? One about Vietnam War. Fortunate Son. Yeah, like every credible musician's been like, stop playing my music. I would love the fact that like DC would have to be like, are we gonna have to sue the president? Is Superman gonna sue Donald Trump?
I've said this before. I'll say it again. The music on the right generally sucks because Ted Nugent songs are always available. He would happily give them away to the right for free, and they don't take it. Kid Rock is available. Nobody's taking Kid Rock songs. Their music sucks. So they always take Born on the 4th of July. They always take the songs on the left and have to be told, we will file a cease and desist order if you do not stop playing that.
It was also they choose songs like Fortunate Son and they choose songs like Born on the 4th of July because they're not when it comes to lyrics, they are not originalists.
Nice.
You know, Amy Coney, you know, they are definitely finding their own meaning. They definitely treat Fortunate Son like a living text.
Yeah.
Because they are not clearly taking the intended or clear meaning of those words. That's for sure.
Yes. Big on choruses, not big on verses.
I was at the 2004 Democratic Convention, and I was at an anti-war protest, and a restaurant started blasting Born in the USA to kind of make a point to the protest But of course, like, it's a protest song. It's an anti-war protest song. So,
yeah.
He was hoisted. That shopkeep was hoisted by his own petard. In that case,
hoisted by his own petard.
It's my catchphrase.
That is his catchphrase.
That's my catchphrase.
Your use of language is delightful, John, let me say.
Dr. Anthony Fauci told CNN he didn't consent to being used in a Trump campaign ad and that the ad took his comments out of context. He's going to be pretty unhappy when he finds out about Fauci's Choice hydroxychloroquine gummies. Cures what ails ya. Fauci has never endorsed a candidate over his decades in public service, but you know that at his house there is a hole in the floor because Fauci filled out his ballot at home and voted so hard for Joe Biden, his pen went through the table, into the floorboards, into the sub. His filling out of that little bubble for Joe Biden is like when the acid comes out of the alien and drips through multiple layers. That is how obviously hard fucking Anthony Fauci is voting for Joe Biden. Are we crazy? Like what are we pretend? Come on.
There are so many holes throughout his house that he's just punched through, because there's no way a human being can maintain that level of calm for this long during a period that is this bad. Donald Trump is against everything this man has worked towards, including the use of logic, and the valuing of science. There is nothing this man has done right.
I can really see Anthony Fauci. Remember that Coney 2020 guy? I can see Anthony Fauci on like November 2nd, just naked through Bethesda, Maryland, or whatever suburb he lives in, just screaming at everybody to vote for Joe Biden, just completely cracking. He made it so close to the end.
In my community, we call that a Martin Lawrence. That's what we call it.
Okay.
But I like the Coney reference too. Also known as a junior Mariah Carey, depending upon what your era is.
I mean, look, you can point to Britney Spears shaving her head, striking that car. And by the way, to this day, I support Britney Spears' efforts to gain greater control over her conservatorship. That's something I think.
Yeah.
I like you're finally jokes aside, everybody. I just want to say I support Britney Spears' right to have control of her bank accounts and medical records, and I support that. True.
Yeah, I err on the side of Britney. You know, that's just where I'm at.
That's your other catchphrase.
That's
Britney 2020.
Twitter and Facebook slowed the spread of a New York Post article featuring what are claimed to be emails from Hunter Biden regarding Ukraine obtained by Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon. Two people, if they forwarded you an email with an attachment, you would be afraid to open it because it was 100% fake and a virus. You would 100% not open that.
The first clue it was fake was that the email was from hunterbiden@hotmail.com.
I mean, I think, aren't we just with limiting any post from the New York Post? Isn't that just a good policy in general, just to not take stories from the New York Post, not let them spread around the internet? I learned that on a Public Enemy album, I think.
The New York Post should just write an annual book of headlines and leave it at that.
A sign that you're not a great newspaper is when your 80s coverage of Midtown New York internecine fighting and politics is 100% of Donald Trump's worldview. If your paper is how Donald Trump created this idea of how the world works, probably not a great source of information. Also this week, an FBI agent testified that the men accused of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer also considered kidnapping Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia. Look, a lot of us had big plans during this pandemic. We said we'd use the time to learn a skill or write or kidnap an elected official because we've pickled our brains in right-wing poison and chosen to direct our lack of agency and dignity outward toward easy targets of blame because we've been encouraged to do that by propaganda and in the absence of real community sought a form of dark solace with like-minded people who also chose to embrace grievance and racism and hatred because we lack the tools to understand the deeper and truer sources of our pain and in fact have been steeped from a young age in a culture that says being a man means it is weak to try.
But I'm bummed.
That was like a Dennis Leary. For people who remember Dennis Leary, that was a very
and enough with this kombucha.
Yeah, exactly. it was almost a Lenny Bruce, and then it went into a Dennis Leary. Good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I gotta stay over. All right. Yep.
Dar Leaf said that. Well, do we know if it was a kidnapping or was it an arrest? How are we supposed to know?
Well, you also have Trump today talking about how terrible, he's basically, playing footsie with these people to this day.
I'm still trying to come to terms with the fact that a police official couldn't tell the difference between an arrest and a kidnapping. Can we just sit on that just for a brief moment? How that seems like it allows for every crime possible. Was this a robbery or a forced loan? Where is the line that this person is drawing?
Well, we know. Oh, Hari, I think we know where the line is.
The line is at. Yeah.
Yeah, the line's
it's
clear.
called White Skin.
White Skin.
Love that song.
Trump's
been playing that. By the way, that song "White Skin" is something Trump has been playing at his rallies.
Right.
But he doesn't know that it's actually was written by Vin Diesel. That's the thing Trump doesn't realize.
The Taliban has endorsed President Trump's re-election bid. For their complete list of endorsements, be sure to check out the latest episode of Pod Death to America.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I don't think your reaction was the exact amount that deserved.
Well, that's a joke that is better made by somebody who's actually not the host of Pod Save America. I think that one's a little inside.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good note.
This is what we're here to do, is give notes on the jokes, right?
That's why we're here. Speaking of anti-democratic regimes, the Trump administration that's based on the Taliban. That was that.
Okay.
That's how far back we are. The Trump administration may succeed in stopping the census early after the Supreme Court ruled in their favor without explanation, which reminds me, I think we should all learn to count up from 9 to say 11 or perhaps 13.
9 to say 11.
Because of the court. Packing the court. We should pack the court. We should pack the court. Yeah. It's too far afield. It was too far afield. Far afield.
When you said
and
9
I didn't say pack
11, that's when I got them 9/11. How is this a 9/11?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an infringement. That's an infringement on 9/11's copyright.
As a parent who's as a parent who's recently had many breakdowns over my 9-year-old's Zoom math homework, I just got panicked when it was sounding like a math joke. So that's where I was at.
Initially, I was like 9/11 and Taliban jokes. Man, John's really dipping into the old well, isn't he? He's going back a little bit.
Of course, this week, the biggest news is the news we are all compartmentalizing and trying to pretend isn't happening, the confirmation hearing of Supreme Court nominee and founding father mind reader Amy Coney Barrett. On day 1 of the hearing, Senator Lindsey Graham said, "This is probably not about persuading each other unless something really dramatic happens. Several members of the committee testing positive for coronavirus or refusing to get tested at all so that they can have the hearing anyway."
We're doomed.
The Democrats actually called George Washington to testify, and he pointed at Amy Coney Barrett and said, "Why is she talking?" And she didn't know what to do because, wow, that is a founding father.
You see where she couldn't name the was it the five things that the First Amendment protects? She couldn't name. Yeah. She went through all of them except conveniently forgot protest. Oh,
she did.
Guns,
she did forget protest.
Bullets.
You remember guns?
She was like guns.
I'm still on George Washington because I think what he would have done is said, "And by the way, that woman is correct. I have lots of thoughts about this technology and did the whole time. You can definitely know what I would have thought about everything here. Yes. I am not petrified by the witchcraft all around me with these electric fires, a term I don't understand."
So you want me to stare directly into this devil box to state the truth?
I have lots of thoughts about net neutrality. I'm glad to be back.
When Cory Booker was talking to Amy Coney Barrett, I kept thinking, oh, the founding fathers wouldn't have liked this. No, they wouldn't have liked this at all. Why are we pretending?
Or if you're Thomas Jefferson, it might have turned you on.
It's so
something
bad.
To think about. Something to think about.
And he's on the $5 bill. Wait, is he $10 bill? No, what's he on? Nickel?
He's on the $1
nickel.
bill. I don't.
Washington's on the
George
one.
Washington?
Jefferson's on the 2.
Jefferson's on
Lincoln's
the 2.
on the 5.
That's right.
Yes.
Hamilton on the 10. Jackson on the 20.
God, this is bad.
We don't see 50s anymore.
How bad is
Hamilton
I
on the
use
100?
cards so much I don't remember who's on
Franklin's
the
on the 100. And then, the Sacagawea dollar came and went. Where'd that thing go? Too much like a quarter.
You know, remember when Obama said we were going to get Harriet Tubman on the 20? Remember that 1,000 years ago?
Yeah, and then Trump stopped it. Grant on the 50. I'm learning from Grant is on the 50. Yeah, Trump was like, no, I like Andrew Jackson because one person told me I should.
Yes.
I've never read a fucking word about it. One person said Jackson is like me. I like me. Jackson, good. Yeah, I will say this is a complete non sequitur, but why? This is America. We have really cool people who weren't politicians. Like, yeah, Harriet Tubman on the money. Fucking Albert Einstein on the money.
Yeah.
MLK on the money. Lots of cool people can go on the money.
Well, also, other countries change their money a lot more than we do, right? Like, it doesn't.
Yes, well, we used to change our money more too, but like it's like a statement of like decline that like we don't feel as though we are adults in charge who are responsible for the money. Like we have to be so deferential to the past because we've given up. Like even from everywhere, we just sort of like everyone is play acting in the roles they saw their parents in. They don't understand.
Right.
No, you're in charge. We can decide what's on the money. We can do it right now. It's not a big deal. It's a bill. We can make a face.
It's like
put a
the
face
money.
there.
The money also became statues, like with the statues.
Right.
Yeah, the money became statues. And in time, everything becomes a statue. You can't change anything.
I mean, why can't we add color to the money? Like real sharp color, like not like Canadian ridiculous monopoly money, but like the actual.
Slow down! Don't insult my possible future country. That's on my list.
It's so mean to blind people that the bills are all the same size. Like so annoying. Like why? It could be different sizes. It would be okay. Like just make. I get that we're all kind of committed to our current wallets, but like, like it seems that we could get through this. So Amy Coney Barrett initially used the term sexual preference when referring to the LGBT community and then later apologized for the implication that sexual orientation is a choice. Just put your paws up because you were born this way, baby, she said, speaking directly to the Constitution, a document that she believes, based on a completely incoherent legal theory, offers little protection for LGBTQ people. Sort of out of the joke section. So she refused to take positions on virtually any major issue that may come before the court, even refusing to weigh in on the importance of a peaceful transition of power. The Post also reported that Barrett would not comment on the court's 2003 ruling in Lawrence v. Texas that struck laws criminalizing homosexual conduct, or the court's 2015 ruling that said same-sex couples could not be denied the right to marry. Now, of course, the hearing has a goal, which is to pretend that Amy Coney Barrett doesn't think what she obviously thinks and has written down many times.
Correct.
But I actually think it's fair to assume that she is more likely to have joined Scalia, her professed role model, and Thomas and Rehnquist in dissenting in Lawrence v. Texas, rather than sign on to Anthony Kennedy's, at the time, 6-3 majority, which was about the constitutionality of criminalizing gay relationships because police opened the door and walked into a private home where two men were having sex. They were arrested for the act of having sex, and that went all the way to the Supreme Court. It was as cut and dry as you get. They opened the door, people were having sex, they were arrested for having the sex. Here is what Anthony Kennedy said in his story. It's a beautifully written opinion. This is what he said. He said, had those who drew and ratified the due process clauses of the Fifth Amendment or the 14th Amendment known the components of liberty in its manifold possibilities, they might have been more specific. They did not presume to have this insight. They knew times can blind us to certain truths, and later generations can see that laws once thought necessary and proper in fact serve only to oppress. As the Constitution endures, persons in every generation can invoke its principles in their own search for greater freedom. Amy Coney Barrett does not agree. That's it. She doesn't agree with that statement. She has made that incredibly clear, and I don't have a joke.
Well, I think she would view it as the police didn't actually open the door. God opened the door after Satan had closed it. So that's another interpretation of the events.
And that actually is strictly out of the Constitution, I believe.
That's right out of
God opened the door.
I like to believe that when the devil closes the door on two men having sex, God opens a window. And finally, This week, Facebook announced it will ban content at long last that denies the Holocaust because they found that Holocaust denial was eating up way too much hard drive space. Yeah, they want to allow it, but like this is getting out of hand. They just need to clear up the servers. They just have too much space taken up by Holocaust denial, you see.
I can't upload my cat video because because my cat believes that the Holocaust happened.
Man. And the thing is, even the name Facebook sounds evil. You know what I mean? It sounds comically evil. Like 30 years ago, like Facebook, it just sounds like something that, like, would take faces. It would devour. It would devour. It's a ridiculous thing.
Well, they wanted
to
call it.
Sounds like something a wizard opens to give you a new face.
Right.
They wanted to call it Your Privacy Book, but that just felt too on the nose. This is a book of your privacy.
Yeah, monetizing your privacy book.
Shout out to my former high school classmate, Divya Narendra, who helped create Facebook and then sued Zuckerberg with the Winklevoss twins.
Okay. Hey, nice.
Yeah.
Little
I remember him in the movie The Social Network being played by a guy who was Italian.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember thinking because Divya was a very attractive man. I remember people being friends with me so they could find out if he was single repeatedly. And I kept thinking, this man is more handsome than the actor playing him and considerably browner.
That actor, whose name escapes me, is hot. The Winklevoss twins are not as attractive as Armie Hammer, who played both of them. And I, for one, respect that decision. The Social Network, if you watch it, is a super strange movie that doesn't totally hold up and has some very, very weird ideas about what being a man is all about. But when you sign up for Sorkin, that's what you get.
That's
W. Kamau Bell, Hari Kondabolu, this was a delight. As always, it is wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for having us.